Welcome back to another episode of Stand Up and Take Action with Stand Up California. I'm Karen and I will be your host today. I am also the executive director for Stand Up California. If you haven't already plugged into your Stand Up California community, please make sure you visit our website at www.standupcalifornia and select your county, and you will be immediately connected to your community of advocates. I am so excited for our episode today. We will have lots of information to cover, especially for those of you warriors who have been called to advocate for our children on a school board level. But first, if you haven't already, make sure you check out our last episode where we took a deep dive at two laws, SB 277 and SB 276, that passed in 2015 and 2019 that basically removed any form of tax exemption for children to attend public or private school in California, and what is currently being done to fight against these laws. All right, let's jump right back in. So today we have the Civil Review Board with us, and I don't want to share too much with you guys. I have gotten to know them, and you will get to know all of the incredible things that they are doing. And I hope that you're just as excited as I am to know that there is hope moving through advocacy in our school boards. We've seen bills pass in the past few years that directly impact schools, school boards, and school children. Of course, Stand Up California lets you guys know of these bills, what actions you can take as you're going through the legislative process. And just at the top of my head, I think about, AB 665, which passed in 2023, that allows a counselor to check in a child into a residential shelter without parental consent if they're receiving mental health services. I think about AB 1078, which allows instructional material or books portraying diverse, right? It's under diversity groups, including Mexican Americans, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender Americans. And we have seen many parents be concerned because under this umbrella, there are very graphic, obscene books. And just recently, this year, we had AB 1955 passed that basically prohibits school boards from passing parental notification policies, and it protects schools and school staff from disclosing a child's gender identity, gender expression, and sexual orientation with their parents. Now, that sounds very overwhelming, you guys, and I know that. And this is where the Civil Review Board comes in, because Stand Up California really believes in community and in taking reasonable action steps that are simple and anybody can get involved. And I really like their purpose, and it's broken down into three sections. So the first one is accountability. The Civil Review Board is holding school board officials and administrators accountable to the communities they were elected or appointed to serve. The second one is civic engagement. So get to know your community and prepare yourself to serve as an elected school board representative through service on your local Civil Review Board. And the third one is resources, which is really important. Curriculum transparency, legislative resources, school choice resources, and legal referrals, plus more. So it is my pleasure to introduce Eric Stalter, and I asked him how to pronounce his last name, and I still probably mess it up. He is the founder and president from the Civil Review Board. How are you doing today, Eric?
I'm good. How are you? Don't worry about my name. Everybody messes it up.
It's okay. That's me saying to me that it's okay. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Eric. We would like to get to know you and how you got into this advocacy space.
Okay, well, I'm just a dad, really, and grandpa. I've been married 20 years. We have a blended family, 5 children, and our kids obviously went through the school system, and like a lot of people, I probably shouldn't bunch other people into this. I should just speak for myself. I wasn't terribly engaged in the process with school boards and what happens. I was engaged on the ground level, play days at school. Those were the greatest, especially water days, when my kids were at school, and I got to volunteer every year at the water day. It was towards the last part of the school year, and it was just a blast. And it was So that's how I was involved and engaged. And I got to know a lot of really good teachers, people working in the school system. So I saw it from a little bit different perspective. I wasn't paying attention really to the behind the scenes stuff that's been really going on for many years, but that was kind of my thing. And then, now I've got grandchildren, and of course everybody knows what happened in March 18th of 2020, March 12th, March 18th, when they
Mhm.
shut down all the cosmetology. My wife is a cosmetologist, and they shut down all the hair salons across the nation except for Pelosi. And so that was kind of a turning point for me. So, it was then that I just kind of, it's sort of, how do you explain it? When you get that big picture view of something and you
Mhm.
just kind of see down the road what's coming, you
Mhm.
know, that was one of those moments. It was a big picture view, and so I started an organization called the Liberty Lab. It's basic, just sort of patriotism light, right? Where we get involved, we go out in the public, we have a great time together. We meet in a public parking lot, we say a prayer publicly. We have a pledge of allegiance, and we just have some few words of encouragement, and then we go on a ride with just American flags. It's not a politically motivated thing. It's to
Mhm.
show our pride in and support for this great country that we all live in, and so, but it's, we got to get involved and engaged. And so beyond that, it just keeps going, right? There's more stuff that keeps happening. And so beyond that, I was walking through my kitchen one day, and I don't watch news. So my iPad had on, I believe it was Tucker Carlson doing a little news snippet I was listening to as I was getting ready. And he says, I don't know why they don't start civil review boards, but oh well. And that was like when the
Mm.
whole big picture thing that we've been seeing just kind of just laser beamed down into one. And to be honest, not to sidetrack things, but that's really where I realized that this is a God thing. God's involved. God's, and so I had to take it. I had to do something with it. So that's kind of how the Civil Review Board was born. And so we just went from there. We built a board, a chapter in Yucaipa, in the Yucaipa Calamasa School District, and we've since grown from there. We've gone to Fontana, Ontario, Montclair, Chaffee, Altaloma, and Cajon Valley Union in the San Diego area, and we're expanding from there, to reach the entire nation. This is going to be a nationwide thing. We're moving through California now. And there is one thing I did want to add on the fourth thing. We do also work with teachers, students, parents, and students. Obviously, to get to the student, you want to go through the parent first, right? Because that's the natural order of things the school doesn't seem to recognize. But we work with parents and their students, teachers and staff inside of the system that expose hidden curriculum or behaviors that aren't in the best interest of the family. So I wanted to add that too, just to kind of round it out. But that's how it all really started. It's for me, like I said, it wasn't really, I was never actively involved. I could count on one hand the amount of school board meetings I went to prior to my kids graduating from school, all five of them, and so it's just, I wasn't. And this was a turning point. We have a country to save, we have a
Mhm.
state to save, and we have each of our cities and schools to save. And the system has completely destroyed the school system. We talk about how, we need, local control, and they're not teaching our kids the right things. Well, they know all this stuff, they know
Mhm.
exactly what they're doing. So we have to take a whole different approach to this than what we actually thought. And I think I'm kind of going off the rails here from your original question, so I'll stop there. But
That's okay. So, you know, every every great advocate, and there are many, and you don't have to be at a school board meeting. You can just be sharing on social media what's happening, right? That's building awareness. That's being an advocate, telling your neighbor, your friend.
mhm,
But I think a lot of us have that one common denominator, and whether it's our own children, it's our
mhm,
grandchildren, it's their why. It's This is our why, right? Our
mhm,
little ones. And we have this conversation. It all starts with our children. They are
mhm,
the future, and they're so innocent, and they're so, and we can go on and on about that. But we're so thankful for what you have built here, and I cannot wait to get into more detail about the great things that you guys are doing. But something that's really important that you mentioned as well is that you got to know the great teachers. And I want everybody to get out of this that not all teachers are bad, not all
No,
educators are bad, not all school staff are bad. There are really great educators, school staff in these schools, and we also need to protect them and encourage and support them as we are with our children and empowering the parents as well. So I'm so thankful that you mentioned that because that's very important as well.
it is very important. And if I can expand just a little bit on that,
Yeah, yeah.
I think the teachers are really in the same boat we are. Like I'm just a normal working guy. But when you get to teachers, these are people that have started this thought from a young age. And then they focus their entire educational career around this goal to become an educator.
Hmm.
And so they've got everything at stake here. So when the system comes at them and says, do this or else,
Hmm.
well, what are they going to do? Throw away their entire educational career, everything they have prepared for and built for here? So we cannot vilify them because
Hmm.
in a lot of cases, I believe it's total fear. It's just total fear. I mean, they're going to take away everything from them. And then where are
Right.
they? So we really have to work with the teachers, with those staff members, and even board members and
Hmm.
superintendents that are willing to, do the right thing. And then our job too is to protect them. So that's why we don't have our policy states that we can't have school board officials, teachers and staff, things like that on our boards because our job is to protect them and to keep them anonymous as much as we can. If they want to go out in public, that is fully their choice, but it's not our choice to expose them and their political viewpoints and where they're at with things. So I just want to throw that in there.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, talk to us about some of the things that the Civil Review Board is doing right now. What are you guys working on, and how do you guys get parents or community members prepared to go into school board meetings?
So the first question is difficult. They're both actually difficult.
Okay.
So what are we working on? In our different districts, we've got a bunch of different districts now. So they're all working on their local problems.
Okay.
What's going on in their local district, what's happening with this particular district as far as curriculum, sexualized curriculum, or this district is spending a grip of money. Where's it going? And that's sort of the foundational thing of all of it, right? The money, follow the money.
Hmm.
But you might have another district that's got other issues going on. Ultimately, though, it all boils down to the same thing. Parent rights are being violated in every
Hmm.
school in this country. And the schools have been taken over by the state, who has no intention whatsoever of educating our children with a proper education and preparing them to compete in the global marketplace or even the local marketplace. They're there to indoctrinate them. That needs to be made very, very clear. And your second part of your question is, what are we doing to get parents involved? So that's another thing. There's a lot of apathy in the world, but there's also a lot of confusion and a lot of lack of information getting out there. So though I want to complain about the people that are apathetic, or call them apathetic, the truth of the matter is when we go to them as advocates or activists, as people call us, we're strong on advocacy, and I'll get to that in a bit. But you know, um, we don't want to overwhelm them. Like
Hmm.
when we go to parents and say, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on, and I'm guilty of this, try to download everything into somebody and make them feel the same way I do. Well, they're not going to.
Hmm.
So the way we try to get them involved is to make it an easy entrance to this. We're not saying come to the school board meeting and complain about this bill or that bill. Come to the school board meeting and warm a seat. Come to the school board meeting and pray. Come to the school board meeting and watch. Do whatever you want to do. Just, go get yourself some fast food or whatever you do. Hang out, do your thing, and then go to the school board meeting and make it a night. I mean, we could sit and watch a 2-hour long boring television program or anything else. So why not go to the school board meeting and learn that way? Don't feel any obligation. So to get parents involved, we try to take the, you know, inform them of the things that are going on a, you know, sort of a slower basis. Not, that sounds terrible, on an easier to digest basis.
Mm-hmm.
And then we try to get others, people that are more passionate, engaged, to act as servant leaders in their community. And it's very important that servant-based leadership is recognized in all this. But so to act as servant-based leaders, to then take those four things that you mentioned, you know, to lead the community in how to approach the school board and what to approach them on. You know, we have monthly meetings where we want to have focus groups come together and discuss the issue. That way we can go and then we educate ourselves on it. And then we all go to the school board educated or more educated on a particular matter. And that way we can do it as a team, as a group, and we're not isolating one parent and saying, hey, go out there and get the job done and we'll watch you. You know, it's kind of
Yeah.
like getting people elected to office. We want to get people elected to office. But really, what do we do, Karen, when we get them in office? We bail. We don't stick around and support them. We expect them to do the job. So that's the purpose of the Civil Review Board, is not only to hold the original members accountable to the communities that they were elected to serve, but when we get people in that are actually serving the children and their families and their best interests educationally, then we will support those people and be there for them when the other side attacks or is trying to destroy them or cancel them or do whatever they do. I hope I answered your question.
No, you did. And I appreciate it because this is what I wanted you to talk about, the balance that the Civil Review Board has for those who are ready to, like you said, speak at a school board, and those who are just getting their feet wet, because our brains are downloading, whether we like it or not, they're downloading information all the time. Social media, we see the posts, we see this, we see that, and that already is overwhelming us. And I think delivering bite-sized pieces that can turn into action steps is so important. And this is, I mean, a foundation for Senate California, because we want to empower through information and equip through information. And it's not going to happen right away. And I think people need to know that it's okay. It's okay to just, like you said, go in there, watch, maybe take some notes on how, you know, a school board meeting happens. And then the next time you can take another step. And this is why I wanted you to explain that balance that you guys have established. And we're really appreciative about that. Now you mentioned that each school board has a different, maybe issue that they're focusing on. It just depends on the community, depends, of course, on the buildup of the school board. Are you guys at all seeing like a common thread with like the issues? Is it curriculum? Is it, parental notification? Like what would you say are the biggest issues, maybe the top two issues you're seeing in school boards right now?
So for me, speaking or looking at it from the 30,000-foot level, it's curriculum and parental rights and the money. The budget, the curriculum, parental rights. And that's, you're spending your money on things that you shouldn't. You're spending your money on sexualized curriculum. You're spending your money on building projects that are benefiting your developer friends. You're spending money on everything but a quality education for the kids. And that's not just me complaining. The proof is in the pudding. Go to the California website and it'll show you that a third or less of our students are actually proficient in things like math and English. So don't tell me I'm lying here, because it's their own sources that are telling us this. So the money is being spent in all the wrong places from our perspective, all the right places from theirs. The curriculum itself is nasty dirty. It's just foul. And again, the proof is in the pudding. If you take one of those books from your school that you may find offensive, I challenge you to go take that book, stand at the podium, and read that book to the school
Mhm.
board and see how quickly they shut you down for being foul in the school board meeting. So that's point number two, you know, and the third, I'm pulling a, what was his name? The presidential guy who couldn't name the five. I forget, what did I cover? I covered the curriculum
Uh-huh.
and
And
the budget and the parental
the
rights.
budget, yeah.
The third issue, and very importantly, is the parental rights. And as you know,
Mhm.
we're having an event September 30th in Ukaipa for parental rights, and we can get to that. But
Yes.
that's a huge thing. The state knows that we are being full of, and I want to make another point. The Civil Review Board focuses only on education. All of our meetings are education centered. We do not discuss Trump. We do not discuss
Mm.
Biden. We do not discuss Harris. We don't discuss election integrity. We focus solely on education. We were talking about bite-sized pieces. This is a focus game. And this was designed for
Mhm.
me because I bounce all over the place and I'm good for nothing unless I have focus and organization. So that was kind of to keep me in line. But it's
Mhm.
very important. So the parental rights are under attack every day. You know, you've mentioned the bill numbers. Name them. There's so many out there
Mhm.
that the state has put in place or is putting in place to remove the parent from the life of their own child. And if we can just get enough people enlightened enough to know, look, if you go somewhere, I was just on another show and we were talking about this with Kamala Harris said something about guns. You know, we have
Mhm.
the right to go into your home and seize your guns. Well, guys, let me say something very clearly. They have started with our kids. They haven't come into our homes to get our guns. They've already come into our homes to take our kids. They're taking them from the schools under, oh gosh, what's the bill number? 665,
665. Mhm.
which says they can do that. And it
Mhm.
is happening.
Mhm.
So they're coming into our, and how many of us would be, no pun intended, but up in arms if they knocked on our front door to take our guns? Well, guys, our kids are being taken before our guns are.
That quote, I think, needs to be everywhere because that is so true. They are taking our children right underneath our noses, and we're not even blinking an eye because we're just trusting. Now, I want you to think about a grandpa, a mom, dad, aunt, or uncle watching right now who they want to get involved, but they just don't know where to start. What would you tell them?
I would invite them to one of our monthly one of our monthly public education roundtables that we hold in every one of the districts that we're in to connect with other parents and community members and get involved that way and just take the easy approach into this. You know, come join us at a school board meeting like I had said earlier. Don't feel as though you know you've got the world on your shoulders and that you have to do something right away. Come join us. Come talk to other people that are feeling the same frustrations you are, that are dealing with the same frustrations, that feel like we are dealing with an insurmountable beast, which we're not, guys. We can win this, and we
Mhm.
will. But it's about organizing. It's about coming together. It's about working together to effect change. And so just come and get involved. Take the easy approach. Like I say, join us at a public education roundtable. Join one of our meet and greets where we have candidates that speak to the community. Come to one of our town halls where we have open question and answer time, you know, and get to know your community members, your fellow parents, and your elected officials through this process. You know, make an appointment with your superintendent, make an appointment with one of the school board members and sit down and talk to them, you know, with or without your participation in the civil review board. Sit down and get engaged that way. Go to a school site council meeting, get involved in some sort of parent group where you can just put in a little time, get some questions answered. And as you start feeling what is firing your rockets, then that's where we plug you into like a focus group or something of that nature. The focus groups are great because then you can focus on one issue. If your thing is the curriculum, come and just investigate in your school. And all of this, guys, the reason we do this in each local district is because local control is necessary. The
Mhm.
attack is from the top down. We have to build and fight back from the bottom up. So our base needs to be strengthened. So as we do that, and then just take that process slowly. So that's really the best advice I could give on that. And just don't feel like you have to do everything at once.
That's great advice. Now, to follow up on that question, let's say somebody wants to reach out to you all, and there isn't a a review board. Are you guys calling them chapters in their
Yes.
local area? Now, can they come out and maybe, learn more and potentially have that assistance of starting a chapter in their area where there isn't one already established?
Yes, they can. They absolutely can. If they want to see how we do it, come join us at one of the districts that we are already in, or call us, reach out to us. We're on Instagram, Facebook. They're both Civil Review Board. And then our website is civilreviewboard.com. So you can get to us through that way, ask the questions. We will get right back to you. Obviously, as you know, it's time is tight and people are short, or we're short of people because not everybody's short, but we're short. So, give us a minute to get back to you.
Mhm.
But if you don't have a chapter in your local school district, reach out to us. We will work with you to get one built. We take you through the entire process. We will take you through the entire structure of building it. We will take you through an orientation. Once we get your initial group of 5 together, we'll take you through a 2.5 orientation where we do lots of neat stuff. We learn lots of things. We go through our procedures and operations manual. We sign a non-disclosure, and
Mm.
we also sign a code of conduct. It's very important that we don't go in there and act in a fool. We've got to go in there. We must be dignified.
Mhm.
If we're going to demand respect, we have to behave respectfully. So that's why we do that. A code of conduct is very necessary for that, you know. And then we'll go through that process with you. And then at the end of that orientation, we plan out with you 3 to 6 months ahead of everything you're going to do for those next 3 to 6 months and how we're going to be supporting you and dealing with that. We have tons of community outreach stuff that we do. We've got easy ups and tablecloths and things like that. So when you go out to do community outreach, all the brochures and everything, they'll be given to each board that starts. And that way you can get out. The easy up is a checkout system, but all the brochures and the printed material is, we can't give every board an easy up. That's crazy. It costs us. But the printed material, you get like a little starter package. You get all the brochures you need, you get everything you need, and then we plan out. And then that way we're working to establish this process. Commitment and consistency is very, very important. And you talked about how you get the parents involved. It is the consistency. There's going to be times when we're sitting at a meeting and 2 of our board members can't make it for some reason, and we get 1 person from the community or 2 people from the community. There's just those times. And so we don't look at that as, oh, bummer, let's not do this because we only
Mhm.
had 2 people show up. We look at that as, hey, this is a wonderful opportunity to crack this nut and get inside here and do what we got to do. So we are consistent in that. That way, the next time you have more people, the next time you have more, you're going to fluctuate, based on the community, based on the issues that are going on.
Yes, very good. And for those of you listening to us, I just want to let you know that we will have all of the locations, Instagram, and the website linked below so you don't have to jot them down. Now, I do want you to please speak on your upcoming event, September 30th, I believe,
Yes, ma'am.
and what people can expect and, you know, invite them over.
Yeah, we would love, love, love to have everybody there. It's on September 30th, Monday evening, September 30th at 6 p.m. In Yucaipa, the city of Yucaipa, at Grace Point Fellowship. We have 2 guests that are joining us. This is a town hall. It's specific to parent rights in the public education system, town hall. We have 2 guests that are going to be joining us, Senator Rosalicia Ochoa Bogue, and also from the California Policy Center, the vice president Lance Christensen. So they're going to be joining us. They're going to give us some information. They're going to, they're going to introduce themselves and give a little bit about their positions and who they are. And then we're going to go right into a community open forum question and answer. Now, here's how we do this. As I said earlier, we're not there to fight with people. We're there to get information and to inform. So if you come with bad intentions, you're going to be sorely let down. It just isn't going to be a good experience for you, because we're not going to engage in foolishness. What we're there to do is engage and inform. So, that's basically it. And then we're, like I said, go into the open forum, get the questions out there. And that way people are more educated on what's going on and what they can do to counter that. And hopefully from that, get more information about the Civil Review Board and how you can start a chapter in your district.
Sounds great. Sounds fun. We're looking forward to seeing you guys on September 30th. So you heard it here. Let's support this incredible organization, all of the incredible work that they're doing, but also let's head on over to get informed and take those action steps. Now, it's been a wonderful time speaking to you and all of the great things that you have been up to and continue to do. Is there any last comments, remarks? What do you want to say to end?
I want to say this. Let's celebrate the small victories. Mm-hmm. We're always trying to take down the big hoss, and the big hoss is a machine, the David versus Goliath thing. We need to celebrate our small victories, and as we get them and as we stack them up, let's celebrate that and move forward to the next. And just, what, I believe that this is a fight that we win, because I do. I don't believe, God is the God that created the football player who's not going to quit on a down season. He's going to retire after he's won the Super Bowl. He's not going to retire after he's had 3 crappy seasons and just go away. So this is the same God who's created us to do that very same thing, go out with a victory. And this is our opportunity to achieve that victory, morally and otherwise. So I just would encourage everybody to not only get involved, but get involved with the intention of doing it peacefully, because peace always wins. That's why they always kill the people who talk about peace. And get involved with a sense of joy, because that joy is going to get us to the finish line. So I guess that's what I would say.
That is a wonderful way to end. And you guys are amazing. And on behalf of the Stand Up California team, we are so thankful for you. And we're so excited for this partnership. Hopefully it's not the last time that you come on. We can continue to have these, maybe a webinar in the future, and invite our Stand Up California community. And for those of you guys that tuned in today, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you subscribe and like so that you can be notified when we do have new episodes. And please remember that nothing will change until we stand up California. And until the next time, have a wonderful day.
Thank you.